Enough a piece of paper.
Okay, if you think I'm reading this paper, let me say it like this. When your bitch ass starts getting some shit that's disrespectful, you need to get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way before I put my foot in your ass. Because
I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Shut the fuck up. I'm old.
What's up? I will punch your neck, nigga. Don't you ever disrespect me.
I did it. He just hung up the phone. I'll break.
Peace and love, family. All power to the people. It is indeed your Minister Sanders. Look, I wanted to make a video. I just couldn't resist. I wanted to make a video to touch on the situation with Kirk Franklin and Kirk Franklin's son. As a disclaimer, I'm not making this video to be messy. I know I've been seeing people say, we need to stay out their business. Listen, I'm not making this video to be messy. That's not my spirit. That's not my heart. I'm not making this video to jump on the bandwagon or clout or whatever negative things people like to say when folks like to give commentary on things that become public. I'm making this video in hopes that it ministers, encourages, inspires, brings light, like all my messages, but particularly I want to bring a disclaimer to this particular topic. I pray that this video is positive. I hope that it's positive and that it opens the conversation because, again, I'll dive into it. Kirk Franklin's son made a video of Kirk Franklin, his father, being on speakerphone, cussing at him, vulgar language, some threats, right? Kirk Franklin was going off. He was finna stomp his son out, literally. But what I saw, I know many people are trying to nail Kirk Franklin to the cross. What I saw was a father that seemed like he was in pain and he was hurt because, again, I'm not a father at this moment, but I do have a daughter on the way, and I can almost understand how it feels to bring children into the world, to bring children into this life, man or woman, and to have them to become 33 years old, and to also use language, foul language, vulgar language, and to talk to you like you are a NIGGA on the street. I can understand that will cause you as a parent to get out of order and get out of line. So again, I don't hold it against Kirk Franklin. I do want to say, I pray that Kirk Franklin does some, because he said on his video, he apologized, which I think he owed no apology. But I do believe, in a sense, I'm glad he made a post, because even though that was a private conversation, Kirk Franklin is a public figure. And anybody who's in public life, ministry, movement, whatever public life that you serve in, you know that, or just in people in general, your private life does reflect your public life. And so my hope for Mr. Franklin, for Minister Kirk Franklin, who is indeed a man of God, I pray that he does the inner work, so that way he won't allow himself to get that upset, because I've been there. I've almost been ready to put Jesus in a Ziploc bag. It's a whole lot of people who didn't catch my hands because I tried to stay saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled. But I was holding on, family. I was holding on, but I knew in that moment, I can't ever let myself get this upset. So I figured out, okay, how did I get to this point? Where did this anger come from? Like I said, I'm in therapy now. I'm trying to do the work. I meditate. I stepped up, opposed to praying 4 times a day. Now I pray 6 times a day. Like, you know, I figured out, okay, I got to figure out ways to not allow myself to get out of character. But again, that's the lesson in this, right? Because we all have let our tempers get out of hand. And we have to be willing to control ourselves, to have self-control. But I do believe there are moments where, hey, it's bets off. And when your child, again, not his neighbor, not a fan, your child posts only half of the conversation, then post what he did, and trying to blast you and talking crazy to you, who knows what transpired before he hit the beat and started recording. So again, I'm not knocking Kirk Franklin. I stand with Kirk Franklin, but at the same time, me being a son who for a long time, I harbored issues towards my father. I was angry. I was irate. Can I just be honest? I was pissed off. So I know what it feels like as a son to have some grievances towards my father. But I'll say this. I don't ever think, unless your father left you in a cage to die or sexually abuse you or physically abuse you, there's never a situation calls for to disrespect your parent like he spoke to Kirk Franklin. From what I'm seeing, what I was told, Kirk Franklin in a sense helped raise him. So, or raised him with the mother. So again, it's listen, honor that mother and father. That don't mean you gotta be buddy. Sometimes we gotta block folks and feed them from a long-handled spoon. I'm not saying we can't hold mom and dad accountable, but we should never, because he said some things to Kirk Franklin as well. And that's what Kirk Franklin said, don't disrespect me. We should never disrespect our parents in that manner or in any manner close to that. That is still your mother and your father. I don't care how mad my father may upset me. I will figure out a way to check him, correct him, and hold him accountable without, number one, make it about you. Don't ever get yourself out of character like that, right? I don't ever want to put myself in a position, which I have been in positions like that before, and I've worked on that, where I get out of character, I get off my square. That ain't cool. I did feel Kirk Franklin's son, that move, I thought it was a cowardly move. I really did. I felt like, he knows if his father was Johnny Johnson, he would never recorded that. But he knew that his father is one of the greatest, most influential gospel artists. Kirk Franklin was the only artist that had his music played in the club as a gospel artist, right? Like, people didn't know for the longest, Stomp was not an R&B record. One of the few gospel artists to actually have their songs win in the R&B section as a gospel artist. Like, literally, Kirk Franklin revolutionized and changed the game in music in general, in gospel music in particular. So to blast him like that was not cool. And to show a half a conversation as well was not cool. Again, we don't know. I'm not finna tell that young man or a brother, how to feel. That's his experience. He's entitled to his experience. But we got to be careful when we want to blast folks and humiliate folks to prove our point. Because if me and you arguing over a parking spot and you get the parking spot, but you hit my car in the process, yes, was you wrong? Or if I cut you off, was I wrong or you wrong? Yes. But is it up to me as a person who's mad that you hit my car to get out and shoot you? No. So sometimes we have to be careful, because sometimes we allow how we handle situations it almost like erases the message. It almost, it doesn't even really matter what really happened, because how we handled it was uncalled for. So that to me is one of the lessons we can learn, is that, because I'm reading some of the comments and many people are not agreeing with his son. Some are, and even those who are saying, hey, we agree with you. You upset as a son, but this wasn't cool, bro. And so again, I think the learning lesson is that when we want to deliver a message, it's all about the delivery. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Nobody's upset with him for holding his father accountable. What people are not even upset, because it's not for us to be upset. What people are commenting on is how he chose to go about it. So the learning lesson from Kirk Franklin is to do some work, some inner work. Again, we human, but even as humans, again, we can't pick and choose the human card, because as much is given, much is required. Yes, Kirk Franklin is human, but he's also a human who's a minister, who we know ministers are held to higher standards, who's also a public figure and a gospel artist. So it's definitely inappropriate for a gospel artist / minister, public figure to tell his son, I beat your way. Like, he don't know who Jesus is in that moment. Again, not judging, no knock, no heat, because I've been there. And I had to hold myself accountable and say, listen, I was wrong for that. I didn't use profanity, because I haven't used profanity since 2014, really since I got saved. But I still use some other language that I would be embarrassed if that person would have recorded me. So I'm not judging or throwing stones. But what I'm saying, the way I learned from that was, let me do some journaling. Let me get some stuff off my chest. That way it won't escalate to that point. That's the lesson for Kirk Franklin. Learn how to do that personal work, right? Because something triggered him, right? You don't just get that mad because your son did. Yeah, his son didn't him, but it was also it was something that Kirk Franklin was so hurt about. So he got to get at peace and accept the fact that his son and him, as of now, they ain't vibing. And unfortunately, it sucks. He got to accept that, so he was not hurt about it. Second, the lesson for his son is figure out better ways to get your father's attention. It's a cry for help. This man 33 years old. He ain't no child. He ain't 13. So he got to figure out better ways to go about it. So again, me being somebody who's had issues with my father, I chose to take my energy, not blast my dad. I wrote a book about my life story. It wasn't a tell-all. It wasn't a blast. It was a book to build healing. I gave solutions. Again, this young man, everything he posted about Kirk Franklin was negative. It was nothing to say, well, I'm going to try to, do therapy. No, he's arguing with his sister. Like, it was very immature. So I don't believe in bringing family issues to the public. But again, they did. It is what it is. Now, to people who are saying, well, we shouldn't talk about this, it ain't none of our business. First of all, when his son put it publicly, it became our business, number one. Number two, when Kirk Franklin made a video and chose to feed into it, it became our business as well. So again, you can't put something out public and then be like, wait a minute. And this is what people don't understand. People who are not public figures have no idea. Once you are a public figure, there is no private life. When you make something public, if I make an opinion, people will crucify me if that opinion is too harsh or too large. This is my business. But I'm on a public platform. I'm a public person. So that's just some of the things we got to realize that too. But again, Minister Kirk is good in my book. His son is good in my book. I think his son is hurt. I think personally somebody needs to pull their coattail, sit them down, have that conversation, and get it. I think that's the best thing to do. Somebody needs to pull their coattail. I don't feel like they need to not talk and block each other because again, I saw Ricky Smiley made a video saying, well, sometimes, some people you got to block out your life, but not your children. I think that, they father and son, they should be able to reconcile their differences. And so, again, I encourage us, if you have father issues or son issues, daughter issues, don't let it linger, because when you let it linger, situations like this happens where, it's almost an explosion. Figure out healthy ways to get through your father or your mother or your son and daughter. Learn to forgive. Something we gotta let go. You can't hold on to 20-year stuff because then it comes out, right? Kirk Franklin probably had no idea his son felt this way. But if he would have expressed himself in a more productive manner, it could have been solved. Or maybe he did and it didn't work. I don't know. But again, that's my 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cent on it. Peace and love.